So here I am doing an engine rebuild on a Mazda F2T engine to get this Probe GT back on the road. These are the old cylinders. They're not great, but they're not terrible. And this is a cylinder that I just honed. She got a nice hone on her. Just gonna slap new rings in it and everything, put it together just like my engines, but this is a virgin block. And yeah, she's ready to go, and I'm going to start honing the rest of these cylinders so we can put some pistons in after I get in the crank, because right now it's just got mains on it. So I got to change the main bearings, got to mic crank, check or put the crank in, torque the main caps down, and then I can start dropping in pistons and rods after we get this deck surface cleaned off. As you can see, it's got all the old head gasket material from the factory Mazda head gasket on it because it's graphite coated. So, all right, now that all the cylinders are freshly honed, I'm going to start doing the ring gaps on this block. After I wire wheel the top deck surface of the block off, people can talk shit and hate all they want. You're not going to hurt a cast iron block by wire wheeling it off. I've done it for 12, 13 years of engine rebuilding and never had an engine fail because of that reason. So it does not take enough material off of the head surface to take it out of flat. All it does is remove the old head gasket material, and then you just blow it out with air. Some people flush it out with water. I find air usually will get most of the remnants of whatever gets caught into the water jackets and everything out, and then you're good to go. So I'm going to get started on this. Alright, now that the cylinders are honed and the deck surface is clean, this block is ready for crankshaft, pistons, rods. So I'm going to get started on that. So the new main bearings are in the block, including the bearing and thrust washer. Now I am going to do the main caps and then be putting the crankshaft in. So the bottom end is almost, like the very bottom end is almost assembled, then it's just pistons and rods. I got to do ring gaps. My buddy Chris, who the car belongs to, is in here cleaning off pistons, getting them ready for new rings. So, yep, getting to a point of assembly here pretty shortly. All the new mains are in with assembly lube. So now I'm going to put in the crankshaft. Put all these have the new bearings in. I got to put lube on those after I get the crankshaft in, but the big end is almost together. Alright, so the crankshaft is in, the main caps are torqued, and it spins freely. So now we can move on to the next step, which is to do the ring gaps and get ready to drop the pistons in. Alright, so the crankshaft is in and torqued, it spins freely, block is honed, deck is clean. And now the piston ring gaps are finished. So I can start throwing the pistons and rods in once he gets all of the rod bearings changed out. They are nice and clean and new. Well, not new, but nice and clean. These are non-turbo 8.6-to-1 cast pistons with no skirt reinforcement like the ones I run in my probe, versus these, which are the factory hyper-eutectic turbo pistons. You can see it's got a decent dish on it right there, whereas the dish on these is significantly shorter, which bumps the compression up from 7.8-to-1 to 8.6-to-1. So, yep, just getting ready to do that, and then this bottom end will be assembled. So the mains and new main bearings with the crankshaft are in the block now and torqued, and now I'm working on doing the pistons and rods. We got the first one done here, and we are going to get ready to oil up cylinder 2 so that we can do that. There's the first one, and then the next one's over there, and so on and so forth. So I've got all the rings sat out over here for each cylinder. Just need to grab pistons and rods and get it going. And I'll come back to you once it's all assembled. With this all nice new engine right here. So, here we have an engine, which is put together. And I'm about to rotate it over a couple times here. So, yes, one of those cylinders has got a lot of grooving in it and everything, but we're just going send it Steve with this engine. it'll still have good compression and seal fine. It's just ugly, but I've had a lot worse. So that's her. She's all torqued up. Bottom end's torqued up. It's all together and ready to rock. And yeah, engine turns nice and free with everything torqued up. So there we go. It's a complete short block.